self-portrait is a picture of yourself. So we're going to start over here by taking a look at some of the other assignments we've done. Here's a self-portrait that was done by some upper elementary students. And here's another one similar but with a different style of hair. One thing I will point out while we're looking at the portraits is just that you never draw hair with individual lines. It's just too hard because you have millions of hairs on your head. So if you actually had to draw them, it would just be too much. So you draw hair as shapes. So you think about what shape the hair makes. All right, and we're gonna start. You begin a portrait beginning with the egg shape. Now this is probably one of the hardest parts. And you'll notice that you're probably barely able to see this line. I'm barely able to see this line because I'm drawing an upside down egg, and that takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of erasing to get it just right. And I kind of have to be right in front of it or it's not a very good egg. All right, so here's my egg. So I'm gonna try to go over it just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. But this is what you can do all the time. You're gonna have these lines that aren't perfect, and you just erase them. So if you have lots of light lines because you're trying to find that exact right spot, that's actually a great way to draw so that you don't have these dark lines that you're trying to erase and just keep going darker and darker over the same area. So here's my upside down egg shape. Can you see that pretty good? Okay, so next is a confusing part every single time. You have to figure out where the middle of the face is because that is where your eyes go. I'm gonna come over here real quick. So it's in the middle of your face, that's where your eyes are. So we have to find the middle. You could either measure or you could kind of try to find it just by maybe holding your finger or your pencil. So you kind of try to gesture, try to find that line, and then you can measure with your hand. Is that about right? That's about right. It needs to be a teeny bit lower. Your eyeballs are right in the middle of your head. And it's just so hard to believe because your hair starts up here. So everybody thinks that your eyes are towards the top of your head up here, but they're not. They're towards the top. They look like they're on the top of your head because your hair comes down to about right here, and then your eyes are down here. And you'll believe me when this starts looking good. But at first, it always looks like an alien. So we're starting on our alien portrait right now. Now there's actually 5 eyeballs across the face. So you're gonna try and find those 5 spaces, and that's 5 eyeball widths across your face. So you have a whole eyeball width in between these 2 spots, the inner eye. There should be a room for a whole eyeball there, a whole eyeball here, both sides. So I'm trying to mark those spots. So I make 4 marks, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Now 2 of those spaces are gonna be where I draw my footballs. And those are my eyeballs. Okay, football. Another very challenging thing about portraits is trying to get the eyeballs to look symmetrical. And that means the same on each side. So I'm gonna work on that for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna leave my guideline there because we'll be using that later. Now what I tell the younger students is now we draw 2 circles inside the eyeball. So we're gonna draw 1, and your circle goes from the top to the bottom of your football. Top to bottom of your football. And then you're gonna draw your second circle, and that's called your pupil. So it's your iris and your pupil. So the iris is the muscle, and the pupil. It's like a camera lens, very similar to a camera lens. Okay, whoa. Gotta make this one a little bigger. Otherwise it'll look like I have a concussion. All right, so I'm just gonna darken that to give you an idea. Some people you can see in the iris, you can see kind of some lines going out. Some people you cannot. So take a look in the mirror. And if you're drawing a self-portrait, you're drawing yourself. So take a look in the mirror and see what your iris looks like. Is it all just filled in a solid color? Or can you see some of this muscle in here that focuses when you try to see different things? This is what focuses your eyes. Okay, then if you want, depending on how old you are, you can draw the eyelid, and your eyelashes actually come out of your eyelid. You can draw some eyelashes. Girls and boys both have eyelashes. And this can go all the way here. If you look in the mirror, you can see there's a flap of skin right here that actually is your eyelid. Okay, I'm gonna do some bottom lashes. All right, then the eyebrow is just kind of, if you think about this as the center, you're kind of doing an arc over the center of your pupil, an arc over the center of your pupil. And you can change it. If you look in the mirror and you happen to have an eyebrow that comes up and then down like that, you can do that. Or if your eyebrows maybe come up to a curve right here. Everybody has a different style of eyebrow. We're gonna keep ours really boring right now and just make them really normal looking, kind of like a flat rainbow. Then if you want, you can just draw the individual hairs of your eyebrow. That'll help it look realistic. And they just kind of go up and out. Then we're gonna take this guideline that we put the eyes on, and we are going to find the middle of that, draw that line right in the middle. Make sure that's right. That's about right. Maybe a little bit higher. Okay, that's my next guideline. Okay, that's pretty good. This is going to be for my nose. So your nose is gonna be directly in between your eyes, and I'm gonna start with just doing a real flat kind of bowl-shaped nose right here. And then your nose actually, the bridge of your nose kind of connects to your eyebrows. So if you wanna draw a line right here, kind of coming out, and then draw some nostrils. You can kind of shade this. There might be a little shade down there. And then I'm gonna make this one a little bit more rounded. Again, look in the mirror and see if your nostrils, if your nose is a little bit wider or if it's more narrow. And then I'm just going to continue that line. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Or if you're a young elementary student or that just looks really complicated, you can draw a nose like this, like a backwards L. That's okay too. All right, then I'm going to split the difference of the nose and the chin. That's a little bit low, I think. So right in between there. And then that's where I'm going to put the lips. So a lot of people have, I'm not sure what those lines are, but they lead right into your lips. And I'm gonna just draw a connector line. There we go. A connector line right here, kind of mimicking this line right here on your nose. And then, so it goes down and then up on both sides. So you can think of it as like two hills and a little valley in between. And then your mouth actually is your pupils. And if you want to draw a guideline, is your pupils of your eyes straight down. It looks like we're crying now, I know, but we can erase those later. So straight down. Okay, and then I'm just gonna bring this line down to here. And then this line across here in a big flat circle. Then everybody's line right here in the middle of their lips is a little bit different. Some people have what's called a Cupid's bow. So you're gonna kind of mimic this line up here. It's gonna be a little bit flatter. It kind of looks like a bow and arrow. Everybody's a little bit different. So take a look at your lips. Maybe they're not this thick. Maybe they're like a thin line, or maybe your mouth does, should have left more room here. A lot of people's mouths, I've noticed, if they're just sitting there, just kind of like goes flat like that. So that can work too. Okay, then we have these guidelines right here. That works great for putting the ears on. What I tell elementary is your ears are kind of like hot dogs. So I'm gonna draw a hot dog on the side of the face. Now, if you're a boy, you're gonna be able to see these ears. If you're a girl, a lot of times we cover the ears up with our hair. So I'm gonna try to do boy hair first and then switch into girl hair. And ears also have like funny stuff inside of here, kind of mimic that. And then maybe there's some other funny stuff. I just kind of think about how my ear feels and I try and draw that. You can erase that line if you want. Something like that. Okay, so for boys, your hairline or your, what's it called? Your hairline starts about right here and it goes up. And then maybe you have long hair, longer hair. If you have a buzz, maybe you have a widow's peak and it goes like this. Maybe you have a nice barbered looking haircut, so your hair comes all down like this. So we're gonna get rid of the widow's peak. So maybe your hair comes down, maybe it has some spots where your forehead shows. This is kind of looks like a guy on TV that I know. Okay, and then this was our alien head before. So your hair has volume, so we're gonna take from the top of the ears, and we're gonna give it a little bit of wave because your hair sticks out from your head even if you didn't just get out of bed. It still sticks out from your head a little bit. It has volume. So now we can erase that line. And that should start to look like a little boy. Unfortunately, he still looks really sad until we erase our guidelines. And once you know the right proportions, you can draw faces that aren't just facing forward, but this will help you when you draw people to be able to draw them correctly. Okay, another thing that artists go by is on the outside of the eye, straight down. That's actually where your neck is. So here's our guideline for our neck. One thing that kids do is they like to do a real skinny neck. That looks like a cartoon. Our human heads weigh quite a bit, so we need to have a bigger neck than that to hold up our big melons. So here's the outside of the eye. So you're gonna go from the outside of the eye and straight down. And that is how thick most people's necks are. Okay, a really easy way to draw a shirt. I guess we can throw some shoulders in here. Shoulder, shoulder, just going off the paper. A really easy way to draw a shirt is to just draw a real flat line right there, and then you can mimic it by drawing like a t-shirt kind of collar, and you can add some texture in there to make it look like a shirt. This neck looks a little bit long, so I could bring my shoulders up and erase this. That looks crazy. You don't have to draw just a t-shirt. If you wanted to draw like a collared shirt, you could do that. Button, I know you guys just love colored shirts. Button, okay, and then you erase the neck underneath here. Okay, so let's say it's a girl. We're going to go over some of this hair. Let's see, I'm trying to think. You see that I usually draw my hair. I'm gonna go back to a ponytail. So let's see, let's say we have some bangs coming across here. I'm gonna stick with the same style of bangs here. I'm gonna erase this guy. Okay, and then maybe the hair can come in front down here. You can go into this area. You can no longer see this collared shirt. Or these guidelines, we don't need those anymore. Okay, and then let's say there's a ponytail or a scrunchie back here. Okay, and then it continues with the hair. So we're gonna show that the hair goes back into some sort of a half up, half down do. So this is something I really struggled with when I was a kid. I always found it really frustrating that I couldn't show that my hair was up. So if you just draw lines, that kind of gives people the idea that your hair is back away from your face. And then I'm just gonna draw the hair coming down this side. And this time it's gonna go behind the shoulder. Show off this awesome collared shirt. Okay, and then there's never a space right here where your hair comes down and then you can see through to the background right here. Your hair goes all the way back behind your head. So you're never gonna be able to see the wall back here. Okay, and then I can draw maybe some diamond earrings. Can do fun stuff like that. Not really room for a necklace. Yeah, so that's faces, self-portraits 101 for boys, for girls. And there's so much you can do from here. Just remember to draw light so you can always make corrections. All right, I can't wait to see your self-portraits. And if yours doesn't look just like mine, remember, I've been doing this a long time. So just do your best. Can't wait to see your art.